Hello and welcome to another episode of Keeping It Real, the largest podcast made by real estate agents and for real estate agents. My name is DJ Paris. I am your guide and host through the show, and we do not have a normal regular episode. On this particular episode, I wanted to make a quick announcement with something that I think would be really helpful for you. And I built this initially for our agents here at KL Realty, which is we're in the Chicago market, but it is absolutely a tool that any agent in the entire industry could use. And I think you'll find value in it. And I also think that I'd love to get your feedback as well on, maybe how it works and if it's working well for you. And so let me tell you what it is. So again, initially I built this just for our agents, and I thought, wow, just open it up to everyone. So let's first talk about a problem that I want to solve, and then I'll talk about how I solved it, or at least attempted to solve it. You can tell me if it works as well as I think it does. So I have been going around I've been asked to speak about artificial intelligence, AI, in particular prompt engineering. So, prompt engineering is the ability to write really specific and comprehensive prompts into engines like ChatGPT and all of the different AI services to get really great results, right? So, a lot of agents, what they'll do when they use something like ChatGPT is they'll put their listing description in and they'll just say rewrite it. And if you don't know how to craft that prompt beyond just rewrite this to be more persuasive or more efficient or whatever you might want to, whatever you're putting in there, if you don't have a step by step sort of process to make that prompt really hyper accurate and specific, you're not going to get a good result. And we know what those listing descriptions look like when they're just tossed into an AI engine and pumped out. They all look the same, right? So a good prompt might be 7 or 8 sentences. It might be 15 sentences. And I don't mean the listing presentation you're throwing in. I mean the exact instructions you're giving it for to get a really good listing description sent back to you, right? So that's a problem, because the problem to the agent is you're busy. You don't have time to necessarily write super long prompts, and you also might not know how to do that. And so I've been spending the last 6 months really helping myself learn how to do that. And as such, I've been asked to speak, and I've really had a lot of success with that. And I thought, what if I built a tool just for fun that did that sort of for you? And I went to work to do that. So I just launched this the other day, and I've gotten a lot of really nice feedback from it. So without further ado, the problem I had was agents struggling to write good prompts to get good results, and not just for getting better listing descriptions, but for things like, I need to create a social media strategy for writing content, a publishing strategy and a content strategy, or how do I better manage my P&L, my profit and loss for my business, or how do I better prospect, right? Or how do I create a more well, let's talk about skills. How do I become better at listing presentations? How do I actually practice, increasing my skill set around, various sort of parts of the business? So I came up with 12 different categories for that agents would want to maybe use AI to improve a part of their business. And I created those categories, and then I went in and I started creating specific prompts that I thought were well formed. So these are hyper specific. And I created two different versions of each prompt. I created a short form version, so a really quick and simple snippet that is quick and to the point, and you can drop that in to AI. And then I created a long form version, which I think are the really, maybe I should only offer the long form, but I just wanted to offer both just because I thought it was fun. So I have long form version and a short form version. And in the long form version, there's oftentimes you'll see brackets, and it'll ask for specific parts of your business that you would put in there, so it knows, you obviously, I don't know you. And I created these 12 categories, and then I have about maybe 15 prompts in each category. And then I thought, okay, that's cool, but that's a finite amount of prompts. And I said, I want to keep adding more and more to this database. And so I built my own engine that is literally scraping ChatGPT and using some of these even prompts itself to create better prompts and to refine the prompts and add more. So every day it's doing that, and it's creating more prompts in the background, adding to the database and adding it to this web tool that I have. So without further ado, here's where you can go test it out. It's totally free. There's no registration. I'm not asking for your email. And I probably should. If I was a smarter man, I would do that. But I just want you to test it for now, and let me know what you think. And I should have a little feedback tool. I'll have to build that. But for right now, you can actually go try it out. It is the website again. This is our recruiting website for our firm, so it's not the Keeping It Real podcast website. It's our own agent recruiting. And by the way, if you are a Chicago agent and you'd like to learn more about our firm, you can go right to that website and you could click around and you'll learn more about us. But you'll have to go directly to this prompt. I don't have a link. You can't link to it from the homepage, so I'm going to give you the exact URL and I'll put it in the description here as well, so you can check it out. But it is join Kale, and that kale like the vegetable, so KALE, joinkale.com/AI hyphen prompts, prompts of plural. So joinkale.com/AI hyphen prompts. And again, we'll have a link to that in the notes here, so you don't have to remember that. But go there. It loads really quickly. It works on mobile. Again, I'm not getting any data from you, although I am tracking just what the clicks you're making so that I know like which categories are really helpful. And then I'll figure out a feedback mechanism so you can tell me like, that's a bad prompt, that's a good one. And I haven't done that yet, but it's really cool. So you basically choose a category, then from those 12 categories, and then you choose a particular prompt. And then from there, it'll ask you short form or long form. Always check long form. I think those is really where the value is. And then at the very bottom of the prompt, there's a copy button. So you just click that copy button, it copies it to your clipboard, and then you can paste that directly into, ChatGPT or whatever you're using. And then just make sure to fill in the brackets so that it knows, you. And let me know what you think. Goes through, by the way, a 10-step process for creating prompts. So isn't just, this thing I put together willy-nilly. I really went through and talked to prompt engineers and learned a lot about prompt engineering myself, so that I thought it would be pretty well formed. But I am not a practicing agent, right? So technically I am right now. I'm selling my own condo. Thankfully, I have a lot of top producer friends who are telling me how to do that. But I'm not out there in the field like you guys. So you have to test this and let me know what you like and where it needs to be improved. And if there's any additional features that you want me to add to it, I can do that. So let's keep this going. I think it's super fun. You'll notice when you go to the page that it has a Chicago broker sort of title to it. That's for SEO purposes for me, just to attract Chicago brokers. So just ignore the Chicago part. It has nothing to do with Chicago. It's just a little way for us to get some additional traffic from the agents we want to recruit. And we are sending this out to agents we want to recruit for testing. But you guys are my listeners and I appreciate it. And it doesn't hurt me at all to have you try this, and I'd rather you try it. So give it a shot. Let me know. Tell other agents in your office, because I think there's not as many of these kind of tools available, and I think it's really helpful. So maybe one day I'll be able to, you can type in kind of what you want and it could craft a prompt for you. Maybe that's what's coming next. But for right now, I've got a finite number of those. And remember, they're being refreshed daily. So I'm only adding like one new prompt a day, because if I added like 100 prompts a day, I think it would just get unwieldy. And I don't think people really need that. But if there's something I missed, if you're like, oh, there's a category in here that you didn't really cover, or a particular type of prompt I want, just let me know. So you can just reach out to us on, through the different social channels that we have for Keeping It Real, or, email me. You can find me online. I'm easy to find, and let us know what you want and let us know the feedback. And that would help us, because then I can add more features, and I'll always make it free, and there won't ever be registration or anything, but just check it out and let me know if it's helpful for you. Again, joinkale.com/AI hyphen prompts, prompts being plural. And we'll have a link to that. So let us know what you think. I hope it's helpful, and I would be super excited to get your feedback on it. So that's all I got for you today, guys. And yeah, just keep listening to the show, tell a friend, and I will see you on our next episode, where I'm actually going to be interviewing somebody and not just talking directly to you. But I appreciate you letting me do that this time. And I was really excited to try that tool. And I found it was a lot easier to build than I thought it was. So if you are looking to build tools like this for your own website, for your clients, something that would help them, AI can do that. I mean, I just did that. So definitely consider, adding your own web apps to your own. Maybe it's a CMA sort of helper that a consumer could use themselves, or we don't have to rely upon the companies that build our websites as much anymore. Although those companies are great, and just you can put your own code in now, and even if you have one of those websites, you will be able to push this into any website, whether you're with Real Geeks, which we love. Real Geeks is our sponsor. We love them. You could put this in a Real Geeks site. You could build this tool that I just built and put it in Real Geeks, so you don't have to leave Real Geeks. Don't leave Real Geeks, and whatever service you're using, but you can pump this into any web page because it's just custom code. It's no big deal. So think about tools that would be helpful for your clients. And also, I'm going to give you one other reason to do it that might not be so obvious. So, for those of you that are, this is a whole other conversation, and I don't want to make this too complicated, but I'll just make this really a simple idea that you should consider. So, when you go to a website and it's for a service or a product you're interested in, and then you visit the website, you check out, see what it is, then, maybe let's say you don't buy it or you don't, engage with it, but then you go and you start, surfing on social media networks or Google or Reddit or LinkedIn or whatever. You start seeing those ads pop up for the exact same product. You're like, oh, that's pretty cool. Or maybe it's not cool. But it's pretty interesting how they're able to do that, right? So you can do that with one of these tools. So what I mean is you build something for your website that is helpful to a consumer. Whatever. Think about what your consumers need, your home buyers, your home sellers. Maybe you can build a web app. You could do that inside of ChatGPT or whatever. When you install that, then if you are somebody that does have ads on Facebook, on the Meta products, and Google, if you do have, ads for, your business, your brokerage or your real estate practice, you can actually then install a pixel on that page that is on your website for that tool. And it will automatically install unless somebody has a blocker for that. Most people don't. This is why you see those ads for the websites you visit popping up everywhere. And then you could set up what's called remarketing, which is what all these brands do. And that way, when somebody visits, Facebook, Instagram, wherever, you could have ads going just to those people, just to the people that already went to your website, which are probably the people that you want to market to. And now all of a sudden you can market to them and send those ads at really very inexpensive pricing. Like, we're not talking about spending hundreds of dollars per click. It might be like 20 cents a click. And for 20 cents, would it be helpful to have somebody, if you drive them to your website, to then maybe, show them an ad about why they should choose your service? I think it's worth it. So certainly that's another reason to do it. So again, I know I went a bit off the rails on this one, telling you about the tool and then why you should build your own tools, not just for help for your client, but that you could market to them. But I just thought I'd give you that strategy of why it makes sense to drive people to your website, to give them a useful tool, and also to be able to market to them without asking them, I want your contact information, right? A lot of people don't want to give that. So this is a way, sort of sneaky-ish way, but totally ethical and legal way to do that, which all the brands are doing anyway. And you should not be one that isn't at least aware that you can do this. So it's called remarketing. You can just Google how to do this. I won't walk you through that. That's much more complicated, but it is possible. So if you want to think about it, like, just start the wheels turning. Think, what if I built a little tool on my website, and then every time that person goes to their social media network, well, maybe there's a chance one of my ads will show up. So that's pretty cool. All right, guys, we'll see you on the next episode. And thanks again for listening. Thanks for being a supporter. And I really appreciate you all. All right, bye.